It was early in the rainy season when the skies over our village turned an ominous shade of gray. The earth smelled rich and fertile, the baobab trees standing proud as they always did, silent witnesses to our stories. My name is Kofi, and I have lived in this village all my life. I have seen many things, the birth of children, the passing of elders, and moments that changed the course of our lives forever. But nothing compares to the events surrounding Amina, her son Tariq, and the prophecy that shook our village. Amina was a woman unlike any other. Her eyes were deep like pools of wisdom, and her laughter could make even the sternest elder smile. Yet for all her beauty and charm, she had no husband. It was unusual, especially for someone as enchanting as her. People whispered, of course, but Amina carried herself with grace. When she reached the age where whispers turned into concerns, she decided to consult Nia, our village oracle. Nia was an old woman with a back bent like a bow, her hut filled with the scent of herbs and scrolls as ancient as our oldest traditions. I was there the day Amina emerged from Nia's hut. Her face was calm, but I could see the fire in her eyes. She told us that Nia had spoken of a prophecy. The man who fathered her child would become the ruler of our village, bringing unparalleled prosperity to our people. It was a bold claim, and it set the village abuzz. Who would it be? Would it be the strong and boastful Kwame, or perhaps gentle Django, known for his wisdom? Speculation ran wild. Amina, bold as ever, decided she would not wait for fate to deliver the man. She made it known that she would choose from among the eligible men of the village herself. Her methods were unconventional. She spoke to them, shared meals with them, even worked alongside them in the fields. Some said she was too bold, too forward. Others admired her courage. But everyone, yes, everyone, was curious. Months passed, and then came the day we all knew something had changed. Amina's belly swelled with the promise of life. The village buzzed with excitement and anxiety. Who was the father? Some men claimed the child as theirs, boasting around the evening fires. Others remained quiet, their eyes filled with hope or doubt. The elders convened under the baobab tree to discuss how to determine the child's parentage. It was a matter of great importance, for this child was not just any child. He was destined to lead us all. It was Nia who proposed the journey to the sacred mountain. She spoke in her melodic, commanding voice. Let each man who claims to be the father undertake the journey to the peak. There lies the moonstone, blessed by the ancestors. The man who retrieves it will be the true father and our future chief. Her words carried the weight of the ancestors, and no one dared question her. 6 men stepped forward, each one claiming to be the father of Amina's unborn child. Kwame, Django, and 4 others whose names now fade in my memory. They were given 3 days to prepare for the journey. On the morning of their departure, the village gathered in the square. Amina stood there, radiant and calm, holding a piece of cloth she had embroidered with symbols of protection for the journey. As each man approached her, she handed him a strip of the cloth and whispered something only they could hear. The journey to the sacred mountain was treacherous. The path wound through dense forests, across rivers swollen with rain, and up steep, rocky slopes. The mountain was known for testing not just the body but the spirit. I did not go with them, but I heard their accounts upon their return. They spoke of strange visions, voices that seemed to come from nowhere, and trials that tested their deepest fears. One man turned back, unable to face what lay ahead. Another fell ill and was carried down by a passing hunter. Only 4 made it to the altar at the mountain's base. At the altar, they encountered a test. Offer what you value most, the voice of the ancestors boomed. The men hesitated. Kwame, ever proud, placed a golden bracelet that had belonged to his mother. Django knelt and offered a prayer for the village. The others offered their own treasures, but the altar remained silent. Finally, Django's prayer seemed to stir the spirits. The path to the peak opened, and the 4 men continued. When they reached the summit, the moonstone lay before them, glowing faintly under the starlit sky. Each man approached, but only Django dared to touch it. The moment his fingers grazed the stone, it erupted in a radiant light, illuminating the peak. The other men stepped back in awe, their claims to fatherhood falling away like leaves in the wind. The ancestors have spoken, one of them said, his voice trembling. When the men returned to the village, Django carried the moonstone high, and the people rejoiced. Amina gave birth to a son shortly after, naming him Tariq. For a time, peace and prosperity returned to our village. Crops flourished, and disputes among families lessened. Django was named the father of Tariq and began his training to lead the village when the time came. But as with all things, the truth has a way of revealing itself. Months later, during a quiet evening, Amina overheard a conversation between Django and Nia. Hidden behind the great Baobab, she listened as Django's voice trembled. "Nia, I cannot live with this lie. The moonstone. It glowed because of your trickery, didn't it?" Nia's response was cold and measured. "You are a good man, Django, a wise ruler. The village needs you. Does it matter how the spirits chose you?" Amina's heart pounded in her chest. Betrayal, deceit. Her son's future was entangled in lies. That night she decided she could not remain silent. The villagers deserved the truth no matter the cost. With the help of the hermit sage from the ebony forest, Amina devised a plan. She retrieved the moonstone and performed a ritual to cleanse it of any lingering deceit. During the next village gathering, she presented the stone, declaring that it would now reveal the true father. Each man who had claimed Tariq would hold the stone. If it glowed, the truth would finally be known. One by one, the men stepped forward. The moonstone remained dim in their hands. When it was Django's turn, it flickered faintly but did not shine. Gasps filled the air. Then, a quiet voice broke the silence. "I will try," said Mazi, a man few had considered. He was a quiet farmer, always on the outskirts of village life. When Mazi held the moonstone, it blazed with a light so brilliant it lit up the entire square. The villagers were stunned. Mazi, humble and unassuming, was the true father of Tariq. Amina's eyes filled with tears as she approached him. In that moment, the truth healed the wounds of deceit. Django and Nia faced the elders and confessed their actions. Django was forgiven but stepped aside, and Nia was stripped of her role as oracle. As for Mazi, he embraced his newfound role with quiet strength, becoming a pillar of wisdom for our people. And Tariq? He grew up with the love of both his parents and the blessing of the ancestors, leading our village into a future brighter than we had ever imagined. Even now, as I sit under the Baobab tree, I marvel at how the truth, though painful, set us free, and I wonder what other stories the ancestors have yet to reveal.